Knickerbockers. Short loose-fitting trousers gathered in at or just below the knee. Lead up. An event or sequence that leads up to something else. Louver. Each of a set of slanting slats fixed at intervals in a door, shutter, etc., to allow air or light through. Mesosphere. The region of the Earth's atmosphere above the stratosphere and below the thermosphere. Microgram. 1/1,000,000th of a gram. Monarchism. Support for the principle that a monarch should rule a country. Mugwort. A plant with aromatic leaves that are dark green above and whitish below. Neckwear. Ties, scarves, and other items worn around the neck. Nightstick. A police officer's club or billy. Non-believer. A person who does not believe in something, especially one who has no religious faith. Non-starter. A person or animal that fails to take part in a race. Open-minded. Willing to consider new ideas. Ostinato. Ostinatos or ostinati /+8/, a continually repeated musical phrase or rhythm. Paramecium. A single-celled freshwater animal that has a slipper-like shape. Parturition. Formal or technical, the action of giving birth, childbirth. Pelargonium. A garden plant with red, pink, or white flowers. Percept. Philosophy and object of perception, something that is perceived. Piddle. Informal for urinate. Pipsqueak. Informal and insignificant person. Pointillism. A technique of neo-impressionist painting using tiny dots of various pure colors, which become blended in the viewer's eye. Polysyllabic. Having more than one syllable. Psychobabble. Informal, derogatory jargon used in popular psychology. Pusillanimous. Timid or cowardly. Caterfoil. An ornamental design of 4 lobes or leaves, resembling a clover leaf. Respire. Breathe. Roundhead. Historical, a member or supporter of the Parliamentary Party in the English Civil War. Sailcloth. Canvas or other strong fabric used for making sails. Sawfly. An insect related to the wasps, with a saw-like tube used in laying eggs in plant tissue. Septet. A group of 7 people playing music or singing together. Serialize. Publish or broadcast a story or play in regular installments. Sidelong. And adverb, especially of a look, to or from one side, sideways. Stratify. USU. Sunup. Sunrise. Swap. And noun, British variant spelling of swap. Unbuckle. Unfasten the buckle of a belt, shoe, etc. Uncleared. Of land not cleared of vegetation. Unprepossessing. Not attractive or appealing in appearance. Unwatched. Not watched. Zebu. A breed of domesticated ox with a humped back. Alembic. A container with a long, downward-sloping spout leading from the top, formerly used in distilling. Arraign. Call someone before a court to answer a criminal charge. Battlement. A parapet at the top of a wall with gaps for firing from, forming part of a batten. Berberis. A spiny shrub with yellow flowers and red berries. Blowfly. A bluebottle or similar large fly that lays its eggs on meat and carcasses. Brownout. A partial blackout. Bruneian. A person from the Sultanate of Brunei. Brushstroke. A mark made by a paintbrush drawn across a surface. Bullfinch. A Eurasian finch with mainly gray and black plumage, the male having a pink breast. Butterfat. The natural fat contained in milk and dairy products. Campanula. Another term for bellflower. Capriccio. A lively piece of music, typically one that is short and free in form. Compline. An evening service traditionally said before retiring for the night. Creditworthy. Considered suitable to receive financial credit. Cyberstalking. The repeated use of electronic communications to harass or frighten someone, for example by sending threatening emails. Daybed. A couch that can be made into a bed. Deck chair. A folding chair with a wooden frame and a canvas seat. Deglaze. Add liquid to the cooking juices and meat sediments in a pan to make a gravy or sauce. Derisory. Ridiculously small or inadequate. Dewdrop. A drop of dew. Ditz. Informal, a scatterbrained person. Dungeon. The strongest or central tower of a castle. Easterner. A person from the east of a region or country. Endoskeleton. An internal skeleton, such as that of vertebrates. Fervid. Intensely or excessively enthusiastic. Firkin. Chiefly historical, a small cask used chiefly for liquids, butter, or fish. Flitter. Move quickly here and there. Fraternize. Be on friendly terms, especially with someone whom one is not supposed to be friendly with. Gatecrash. Enter a party without an invitation or ticket. Godparent. A person who presents a child at baptism and promises to take responsibility for their religious education. Grenadian. A person from the Caribbean country of Grenada. Grosgrain. A heavy ribbed fabric, typically of silk or rayon. Hasp. A hinged metal plate that forms part of a fastening for a door or lid and is fitted over a metal loop and secured by a pin or padlock. Hebraic. Relating to Hebrew or the Hebrew people. Hidebound. Unwilling to give up old-fashioned ideas in favor of new ways of thinking. Horology. The study and measurement of time. Hospitalize. Admit someone to a hospital for treatment. Humdinger. Informal, a remarkable or outstanding person or thing. Impolitic. Not wise or prudent. Indisposition. A slight illness. Jodhpurs. Trousers worn for horse riding that are close-fitting below the knee. Knockabout. Rough and slapstick. Kukri. A curved knife that broadens toward the point, used by Gorkhas. Lamella. Technical, a thin layer, membrane, or plate of tissue, especially in bone. Liadin. An introduction to something. Liquefy. Variant spelling of liquefy. Lubber. Old use or dialect, a big, clumsy person. Merganser. A fish-eating diving duck with a long, thin, jagged, and hooked bill. Mini dress. A very short dress. Mucilage. A thick bodily fluid. Naiad. A water nymph. Neptunium. A rare radioactive metallic element produced from uranium. Overfill. Put more into a container than there is room for. Overinflated. Of a price or value, excessive. Oversexed. Having unusually strong sexual desires. Porker. A young pig raised and fattened for food. Puffball. A fungus that produces a large round fruiting body that bursts when ripe to release a cloud of spores. Rambutan. The red, plum-sized fruit of a tropical tree, with soft spines and a slightly sour taste. Redcap. A railroad porter. Re-enlist. Enlist again in the armed forces. Reticule. Chiefly historical, a woman's small handbag, closed with a drawstring. Retune. Tune a radio, musical instrument, etc., again or differently. Rubato. Music temporary disregard for strict tempo to allow an expressive quickening or slackening. Scrap heap. A pile of things that have been thrown away as rubbish. Sophisticate. A person having experience and taste in matters of fashion and culture. Studly. Informal, of a man, sexually attractive in a strongly masculine way. Superordinate. A thing that represents a higher order or category within a system of classification. Systole. The phase of the heartbeat when the heart muscle contracts and pumps blood into the arteries. Tantalize. Torment or tease someone by showing or promising them something that they cannot have. Thermic. Relating to heat. Tostada. A Mexican deep-fried tortilla topped with a mixture of beans, ground meat, and vegetables. Unbridgeable. Not able to be closed or made less significant. Underplay. Represent something as being less important than it really is. Unhinge. Make someone mentally unbalanced. Unschooled. Lacking schooling or training. Vacillate. Keep changing one's mind about something. Vinous. of, resembling, or associated with wine. Vivarium. An enclosure or structure used for keeping animals in conditions similar to their natural environment for study or as pets. Wainscot. An area of wooden paneling on the lower part of the walls of a room. Wheedle. Use endearments or flattery to persuade someone to do something. Whereto. Old use or formal to which. Woodgrain. Imitating the grain pattern of wood. Acellular. Biology 1 not divided into or containing cells. Ad-lib. Speak or perform in public without preparing beforehand. Angiosperm. A plant of a large group that have flowers and produce seeds enclosed in a carpel, including herbaceous plants, shrubs, grasses, and Anglo-Catholic most trees. Bedevil. Cause continual trouble to. Breadline. A line of people waiting to receive free food. Cauldron. Variant spelling of cauldron. Cheerless. Gloomy and depressing. Cockade. A rosette or knot of ribbons worn in a hat as a badge of office or as part of a livery. Copal. Resin from certain tropical trees, used to make varnish. Copybook. A book containing models of handwriting for learners to imitate. Cowrie. A sea mollusk having a glossy, domed shell with a long, narrow opening. Descant. An independent treble melody sung or played above a basic melody. Doublethink. The acceptance of conflicting opinions or beliefs at the same time. Factitious. Not genuine, made up. Finagle. Informal obtain something in a dishonest or devious way. Floret. One of the small flowers making up a composite flower head. Forenoon. The morning. Frangible. Literary or technical fragile, brittle. Gerbera. A tropical plant of the daisy family, with large brightly colored flowers. Grosbeak. A songbird with a stout conical bill and brightly colored plumage. Hang up. Informal and emotional problem or inhibition. Hardtack. Old use hard dry bread or biscuit, especially as rations for sailors or soldiers. Hexameter. A line of verse consisting of 6 metrical feet. Hornblende. A dark brown, black, or green mineral present in many rocks. Hypercritical. Excessively and unreasonably critical. Insupportable. Unable to be supported or justified. Leguminous. Relating to plants of the pea family, typically having seeds in pods and root nodules containing nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Long-suffering. Bearing problems or annoying behavior patiently. Madagascan. A person from Madagascar. Manzanilla. A pale, very dry Spanish sherry. Mortgager. The borrower in a mortgage. Munificent. Very generous. Nair. Informal, a federal agent or police officer who enforces laws regarding the sale or use of illicit drugs. Narthex. An antechamber or large porch in a church. Nutria. The skin or fur of the koipu, a large rodent. Osteo. Relating to the bones. Osteology. The study of the skeleton and bony structures. Outrider. A person in a vehicle or on horseback who escorts or guards another vehicle. Oven-proof. Suitable for use in an oven. Ovule. The part of the ovary of seed plants that becomes the seed after fertilization. Pethidine. A painkiller used especially for women giving birth. Punctilious. Showing great attention to detail or correct behavior. Rumba. Variant spelling of rumba. Sahelian. Relating to the Sahel, a semi-arid region bordering the southern Sahara Desert in North Africa. Semi-precious. Referring to minerals that can be used as gems but are considered to be less valuable than precious stones. Sinfonietta. Music one, a short or simple symphony. Superintend. Manage or oversee an activity, organization, etc. Supertanker. A very large oil tanker. Surinamese. Relating to Suriname, a country on the Eni coast of South America. Tea kettle. A container with a lid, spout, and handle used for boiling water. Trencher. Historical, a wooden plate or platter. Underclothes. Clothes worn under others next to the skin. Unreconstructed. Not reconciled or converted to the current political theory or movement. Vitalism. The theory that life is dependent on a force or principle distinct from purely chemical or physical forces. Vitiate. Formal one, makes something less good or effective. Wastrel. Literary, a lazy person who spends their time and money in a careless way. Weighbridge. A machine for weighing vehicles, set into the ground to be driven onto. Whap. And noun, variant spelling of WHOP. Whitebait. A whispered word or phrase, or a whispering tone of voice. Woodchip. Chiefly Brit. Abeam. At right angles to a ship's or an aircraft's length. Advertorial. An advertisement in the style of an editorial or objective journalistic article. Assonance. The rhyming of vowels only, e.g., hide, line, or of consonants but not vowels, e.g., cold, killed. Bandolier. A belt with loops or pockets for carrying bullets, worn over the shoulder. Bedfellow. A person or thing closely associated with another. Bedroll. A sleeping bag or other bedding rolled into a bundle. Bedstead. The framework of a bed. Bespeak. Formal one, be evidence of. Biennium. A specified period of 2 years. Blotto. Informal, extremely drunk. Cataplexy. A medical condition in which strong emotion or laughter causes a person to experience sudden weakness in the muscles. Circumscribe. Put limits on, restrict. Coelacanth. A large bony sea fish with a tail fin and 3 rounded parts, known only from fossils until one was found alive in. Conciliate. Make someone calmer or less angry. Contretemps. -tan, z, / a minor disagreement. Dashiki. A loose, brightly colored shirt, originally from West Africa. Drumlin. Geology, a mound or small hill consisting of compacted boulder clay. Dysmenorrhea. Medicine, painful menstruation. Elide. Omit a sound or syllable when speaking. Encamp. Settle in or establish a camp. Eurotrash. Informal rich European socialites, especially those living in the U.S. EUSTHEN tube/YD 0 foot stasks, a, on, key / Extempore. And adverb spoken or done without preparation. Fabulist. A person who composes fables. Fade out. A gradual decrease, until disappearance, in sound volume or in the visibility of a filmed scene. Fritillary. For a plant with hanging bell-like flowers. Gibber. Speak rapidly and in a way that is difficult to understand. Headcase. Informal, a mentally ill or unstable person. Hightail. Informal move or travel fast. Ineluctable. Unable to be resisted or avoided, inescapable. Inessential. Not absolutely necessary. Lawbreaker. A person who breaks the law. Mahout. A person who works with and rides an elephant. Malathion. A synthetic insecticide containing phosphorus. Martyrology. The study of martyrs. MacGuffin. An object or device in a movie or a book that serves merely as a trigger for the plot. Mirror ball. A revolving ball covered with small mirrored facets, used to provide lighting effects at discos. Moleskin. The skin of a mole used as fur. Mottle. Mark something with patches of a different color. Muskeg. A North American swamp or bog formed by an accumulation of decayed vegetation and sphagnum moss. Nerveless. Lacking strength or feeling. Neuroleptic. Tending to lower nervous tension by reducing nerve functions. Non-combatant. A person who is not engaged in fighting during a war, especially a civilian or an army chaplain or doctor. Paroxysm. A sudden attack of pain, coughing, etc., or a sudden feeling of overwhelming emotion. Pasturage. Land used for grazing cattle or sheep. Patricide. The killing of a father by his child. Photometer. An instrument measuring the strength of light. Photorealism. A style of art and sculpture characterized by a very detailed and unidealized portrayal of ordinary life. Puffery. Exaggerated or false praise. Pussyfoot. Act very cautiously. Ragwort. A yellow-flowered plant with ragged leaves. Reappoint. Appoint someone again to a position they previously held. Redstart. A small songbird of the warbler family. Silviculture. The growing and cultivation of trees. Sisyphean. Unending. Stepparent. A stepfather or stepmother. Tambour. Historical, a small drum. Theodolite. A surveying instrument with a rotating telescope for measuring horizontal and vertical angles. Tollgate. A barrier across a road where a toll must be paid to pass through. Ultrasonics. Treated as sing, the science and application of sound waves with a frequency above the upper limit of human hearing. Ultrastructure. Biology of fine structure, especially within a cell, that is so small that it can be seen only with an electron microscope. Unfaltering. Not faltering, steady or resolute. Unlovely. Not attractive, ugly. Unthreatening. Not threatening. Usurious. Relating to the lending of money at unreasonably high rates of interest. Victoriana. Articles, especially collector's items, from the Victorian period. Weed killer. A substance used to destroy weeds. Weimaraner. A thin-coated gray breed of pointer used as a gun dog. Whitefly. A minute-winged bug covered with powdery white wax, damaging plants by feeding on sap and coating them. Witticism. A witty remark. Yoo-hoo. A call used to attract attention. Abstemious. Deliberately limiting one's consumption of food or alcohol. Antinomian. Believing that Christians are released by grace from obeying moral laws. Archiepiscopal. Relating to an archbishop. Bewilder. Puzzle or confuse someone. Brachiosaurus. A huge plant-eating dinosaur with forelegs much longer than the hind legs. Brute. Spread a story or rumor widely. Buckram. Coarse linen or other cloth stiffened with paste, used in bookbinding. Canid. Zoology, a mammal of the dog family, a canine. Codling. A young cod. Colorant. A dye or pigment used to color something. Comportment. Formal, a person's behavior or bearing. Cretinous. Very stupid. Croquette. A small cake or roll of chopped vegetables, meat, or fish, fried in breadcrumbs. Diamorphine. Technical heroin. Dyspeptic. Relating to or having dyspepsia, indigestion. Eco-friendly. Not harmful to the environment. Eagle. Having to do with the law. Enthrall. Fascinate someone and hold their attention. Gavotte. A medium-paced French dance, popular in the 18th century. Glower. Have an angry or sullen expression. Half moon. The moon when only half its surface is visible from the earth. Highfalutin. Informal, grand or self-important in a pompous or pretentious way. Holograph. A manuscript handwritten by its author. Hosta. A shade-tolerant plant with ornamental foliage. Hydrosphere. The seas, lakes, and other waters of the Earth's surface, considered as a group. Initialism. An abbreviation consisting of initial letters pronounced separately, e.g., AD. Interiority. The quality of being interior or inward. Jejunum. The part of the small intestine between the duodenum and ileum. Lungfish. A freshwater fish with one or two sacs that function as lungs, enabling it to breathe air and live dormant in mud to survive drought. Midships. And adjective, another term for amidships. Midst/midst, midst/old use or literary. Moralize. Comment on issues of right or wrong behavior, especially in a disapproving sway. Myalgia. Pain in a muscle or group of muscles. Omerta. The mafia code of silence about criminal activity. Ormolu. A gold-coated alloy of copper, zinc, and tin used in decoration. Oviparous. Producing young by means of eggs that are hatched after they have been laid by the parent. Packhorse. A horse used to carry loads. Peristyle. A row of columns surrounding a courtyard or internal garden or edging a veranda or porch. Philodendron. A tropical American climbing plant grown as a greenhouse or indoor plant. Prosumer. An amateur who purchases equipment suitable for professional use. Quaver. Tremble. Rankle. Of a comment or fact, cause continuing annoyance or resentment. Redial. Dial a telephone number again. Reoccupy. Occupy a place or position again. Saturnine. Gloomy or serious. Scallywag. Variant spelling of scallywag. Scraggy. Thin and bony. Seedbed. A bed of fine soil in which seedlings are germinated. Self-made. Having become successful or rich by one's own efforts. Shellfire. Bombardment by explosive shells. Signorina. A title or form of address for an Italian-speaking unmarried woman, corresponding to Miss. Soave. A dry white Italian wine. Stationer. A person who sells stationery. Syllabary. A set of written characters representing syllables and, in some languages or stages of writing, serving the purpose of an alphabet. Tamarin. A small monkey native to forests in South America. Tessellated. Decorated with mosaics. Tuberculin. A sterile protein. unclassifiable, not able to be put into a particular category. Undercroft, the crypt of a church. Unsprung, not provided with springs. Unsystematic, not done or acting according to a fixed plan or system. Wheaten, made of wheat. Wicker, give a soft breathy whinny. Whippoorwill, a North and Central American nightjar with a distinctive call. Yemenite, and adjective, another term for Yemen. Blabbermouth, informal, a person who reveals secrets or talks too much. Boysenberry, a large red edible blackberry-like fruit. Burble, make a continuous murmuring noise. Charrette, a meeting or conference devoted to a concerted effort to solve a problem or plan. 3. Strength and originality in a person's nature. Compendious, formal, presenting the essential facts in a detailed but concise way. Coracle, a small, round boat made of wickerwork covered with a watertight material, propelled with a paddle. Cowpea, a black-eyed pea, especially when grown as a forage or cover crop. Deponent, a person who gives a sworn statement to be used as evidence. Dog sled, a sled designed to be pulled by dogs. Doodlebug, informal AV-1 flying bomb used by Germany in World War II. Doom, emulsify, make into or become an emulsion. Esker, geology, a long winding ridge of sediment deposited by meltwater from a retreating glacier or ice sheet. Eyewash, liquid for cleansing a person's eye. Fasces, historical, a bundle of rods with a projecting axe blade, used as a symbol of a magistrate's power in ancient Rome. Featherbed, a bed with a mattress stuffed with feathers. Finito, informal, finished. Footboard, an upright panel forming the foot of a bed. Forsooth, old use or humorous indeed. Forswear, formal, agree to give up or do without something. Galvanometer, an instrument for detecting and measuring small electric currents. Gorget, historical, an article of clothing or piece of armor covering the throat. Handpick, select someone or something carefully. Heterosexism, discrimination or prejudice against homosexuals on the assumption that heterosexuality is the norm. Homeopath, a person who practices homeopathy. Hoopoe, a salmon pink bird with a long bill, a large crest, and black and white wings and tail. Hornpipe, a lively solo dance traditionally performed by sailors. Immolate, kill or offer something as a sacrifice, especially by burning. Impecunious, having little or no money. Inarguable, not subject to debate or argument. Irrecoverable, not able to be recovered or remedied. Here, An Indian dessert consisting of rice and sugar boiled in milk or coconut milk, often flavored with cardamom and ground nuts. Landside. The area of an airport terminal to which the general public has unrestricted access. Lecher. A lecherous man. Lunette. An arched window or other aperture in a domed ceiling. Mantilla. A lace or silk scarf traditionally worn by women over the hair and shoulders. Mignonette. A plant with spikes of small fragrant greenish flowers. Mileage. Variant spelling of mileage. Molder. Slowly decay. Night spot. Informal a nightclub. Non-technical. Not relating to or involving science or technology. Nubuck. Leather that has been rubbed on the flesh side of the skin to give a suede-like effect. Oleaginous. Oily or greasy. Orison. Literary prayer. Pablum. Literary bland intellectual matter or entertainment. Pawpaw. Variant spelling of pawpaw. Personality. A person's personal property. Puel. Literary cry feebly or in a complaining way. Recondite. Not known about or understood by many people. Requite. Formal give or do something suitable in return for a favor, love, kindness, etc. Rickettsia. Any of a group of very small bacteria of which some cause typhus and similar diseases in humans. Saluki. A tall, slender breed of dog with a silky coat and large drooping ears. Scrollwork. Decoration consisting of spiral lines or patterns. Sensationalize. Present information in an exaggerated way in order to make it seem more interesting or exciting. Skedaddle. Informal leave hurriedly. Smoothbore. A gun with a barrel that is not rifled. Smolder. British spelling of smolder. Snow-capped. Covered with snow. Souse. Soak or drench something with liquid. Spinifex. A grass with spiny flower heads that break off and are blown about, occurring from East Asia to Australia. Spoil sport. A person who spoils the pleasure of others. Sun cream. A cream rubbed onto the skin to protect it from sunburn. Tall boy. A tall chest of drawers in two sections, one standing on the other. Tear. Look or gaze in a lustful or unpleasant way. Torpid. Mentally or physically inactive, lacking energy. Tricot. A fine knitted fabric. Trollop. Dated or humorous a woman who has many sexual partners. Unplaced. Chiefly horse racing, not one of the first three, sometimes four, to finish in a race. Vouchsafe. Give or reveal in a gracious or superior way. Ammeter. An instrument for measuring electric current in amperes. Bifurcate. Divide into two branches or forks. Bounder. Informal, dated a man who behaves in a dishonest or unacceptable way, a cad. Buckboard. An open horse-drawn. Byronic. Characteristic of Lord Byron, 1788 to 1824, or his poetry. Carry-on. A bag or suitcase suitable for taking onto an aircraft as handheld luggage. Cavort. Jump or dance around excitedly. Chasten. Make someone feel ashamed or sorry. Cockatrice. Another term for basilisk, sense one. Conjuncture. A combination of events. Convolvulus. A twining plant with trumpet-shaped flowers. Cowpox. A disease of cow's udders spread by a virus, which can be caught by humans and resembles mild smallpox. Cummerbund. A sash worn around the waist, especially as part of a man's formal evening suit. Demoiselle. Old use a young woman. Depopulate. Substantially reduce the population of an area. Destine. Be intended for or certain to do something. Dirndl. Also dirndl skirt, a full, wide skirt gathered into a tight waistband. Ductless. Anatomy of a gland producing secretions directly into the bloodstream. Embroil. Involves someone deeply in a conflict or difficult situation. Equivocate. Use ambiguous or evasive language. Firebrick. A brick capable of withstanding intense heat, used especially to line furnaces and fireplaces. Fold out. Designed to be opened out for use and then folded away. Frump. An unattractive woman who wears dowdy old-fashioned clothes. Geminate. Phonetics of a consonant 541 gene pool sound, doubled. Gleanings. Things gathered from various sources. Grackle. A songbird of the American blackbird family with glossy black plumage. Hailstone. A pellet of hail. Haversack. A small, sturdy bag carried on the back or over the shoulder, especially by soldiers and hikers. Hayseed. Informal, derogatory as simple, unsophisticated country person. Heatproof. Able to resist great heat. Immiscible. Not forming a homogeneous mixture when mixed. Intercalary. Ophidae are a month, inserted in the calendar to harmonize it with the solar year, e.g., February 29th in leap years. Interpose. Insert between one thing and another. Jaywalk. Walk across a street in violation of pedestrian laws, especially where there is no crosswalk or at an intersection when the traffic has the right of way. Kapok. A cotton-like substance that grows around the seeds of a tropical tree, used as stuffing for cushions, soft toys, etc. Lachrymose. Literary tearful. Linocut. A design carved in relief on a block of linoleum, used for printing. Maquette. A small model or sketch made by a sculptor as a basis for a larger work.